Thank you for sitting down with me today. For the people, could you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, so my name is Lisa Trottier. I've been a registered dietitian for 35 years and a diabetes educator almost 35 years the whole time. And I've also done some consulting for team and training and doing some sports nutrition as well as an athlete myself, and been here at BFT since the beginning. So
Founding member.
Yep.
So according to the internet, I should eat nothing and everything at the exact same time. I am completely at a loss for, like, at a certain point you should be like, okay, what can I eat? What should I eat? Because there is almost so, I would hate to call it everything proper information, but there's so much information out on the internet. And I have noticed that it's almost cyclical, where things come back around that are trendy, as it were. What do I eat?
Yeah. Well, I've been a dietitian 35 years, so I've seen a lot of these trends come and go, and there's certain themes, where, oh, this is the perfect ingredient, the cabbage soup diet.
Yeah.
I need to cleanse and get all the toxins out of my body, or carbs are the devil, or fat is the devil.
Yeah, either way, there's a devil somewhere.
Yes.
It's everywhere at the same time. So that's the number one thing that we get is that, like, okay, we have BFT, we have the exercise component of it. Nothing's locked down, but we're evolving, we're growing. The nutrition component is huge. That piece is just not there. And then when I get asked questions, it's like exactly what you said, like, oh, I could only eat this one thing, or if I stay away from this one thing, everything will be better.
I have to supplement. What I've noticed through the evolution is, back in the ancient days when I first started in the late 80s, early 90s.
I don't know if we call it ancient. It's a throwback. I don't know.
Feel ancient. Yeah. There wasn't the social media presence. Yeah. So you'd have like a media figure, but on regular TV, or in the
like Oprah is telling me what to do.
Like Oprah. Yeah. Oz is more recent, but I swear his television show drove me back.
Green tea pills or something like that. Yeah.
He would overblow one study and say, "Oh yeah, take this," and and it was all nonsense. Yeah. So I was, trying to counter that misinformation. I would get inquiries at least 1 or 2 a week when he was on TV. So the challenge with social media is you have these influencers and you look at them and they look skinny and they look good. Just follow my plan, cut out the carbs, or, any of these crazy diets.
Yeah. What do you think is the most prevalent right now that people are falling for?
Yes. Well, there are certainly the low carb, keto, paleo, carnivore, where anytime you eliminate a whole food group, or you really limit what the range of the food you're eating, that's the definition of a fad diet.
Okay.
So you might get initial success, where you cut out the processed food. So all of these diets, they do have some good components.
I mean, they're based almost in the strategy of an elimination diet, which would be under proper supervision is a good thing to do. Like you're eliminating something that could possibly be inflammatory to your system and then building back up. The problem is they don't do the build back up part.
Right. Or even Atkins, which, the evolution of the low carb diets, they definitely evolved. I looked back and saw low carb diets back in the 1920s. So, these low carb is not a new concept.
Yeah.
What old is new again, and they just repackage it and, and reinvent themselves. But in the long run, they don't work if you stick strictly to any one program. And the rebound of gaining weight is very real. And most of these extreme diets, you can't follow long term.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing.
It's not realistic.
Even if you were to, for whatever reason, then, and it did work over a long period of time, there's people out there that do keto for years. Yeah. And it does work if your definition of work is to not have that high body fat, among other things. But that's the thing is that when people tell me about like these particular diets, I'm like, listen, if we're talking strictly for performance or body composition, every diet works. The idea is that it is a diet that's different from a lifestyle. Like we have the 8-week
Right.
challenge.
Right.
It is a 8-week challenge. It is not a 12-month challenge
Right.
repeatedly.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's you focus for a certain amount of time to get an aesthetic goal, and then you move on. And I think that piece is not there because how could they possibly make money if people did that?
Well, you know, I work in diabetes, so the keto is very attractive.
Mm-hmm.
But true ketogenic diets, you cut the carbs so low, you go into what we call ketosis, because our muscles need sugar for fuel. So if you starve the muscles of sugar, you can't burn fat and you don't have the fuel for normal production.
Mm-hmm.
So if you cut so much, then the theory is you go into these secondary fat burning processes that produces ketones that we can burn for energy.
Yeah.
Now, in people with diabetes, we don't want ketosis because that can lead to an ICU visit, and But if you balance it and get into that ketosis, in theory, you can burn some of that stored fat because you're not using sugar as a fuel. But to get to ketosis, you have to cut your carbs and sugar so much that over the long run, you're having those nutrient deficiencies.
Yeah, and it's a high fat diet too. Most people would just say like, "I'll just cut the carbs," and that's it. And that's like, that's not ketosis.
No.
Like that's
Protein
the thing is that you're.
Fat.
It's so weird when people take things that are good and they twist it.
Yes.
And then they twist it to. I mean, I don't want to say that everybody is a bad actor, but if you're on the internet and you're seeing this and someone's trying to sell you something, more than likely they had to kind of twist a fact to kind of make it fit their narrative. So if that keto has been big for the past few years.
Oh yes.
And now I've actually seen the rebound of it. I'm actually hearing about a sugar fast diet where people are pushing like, oh, you could just eat fruit juices and like you can have gummy bears and all this and just don't have all it. And I think the lesson of it is, okay, maybe we're meant to have a balanced approach.
Yes. Again, I've seen the evolution, and it always comes back to that moderation. So some people doing keto actually aren't doing keto. No. They're doing low carb. In fact, I follow a number of patients, and when I look at their nutrition, they do the food records. I don't tell them they're not doing keto because they feel good about that. But I'm like, no, they're not. It's a low carb, not a ketogenic. Yeah. They're not getting into ketosis. But what comes around is that moderation, low processed foods, avoiding packages, cans, fresh and frozen is your best bet, and not having a lot of processing to the food, more raw as nature. And the couple of diets that I even hate to call them diets. Yeah. They're more like eating lifestyles, more plant-based, Mediterranean. And what I really liked about the BFT, the nutrition plan. And by the way, the first one I didn't look at the articles.
No, okay.
So this time I was looking at the articles, and when you look at the diet plan, I'm like, yeah, this is very Mediterranean, and that is one of the things that when they devised the nutrition plan, they did use the Mediterranean eating way, and that is one of the best eating plans.
Yeah. So
year after year after year.
Plant-based, good. Yep. Like anybody could look that up. Yep. It's plant-based, but there is meat. Sometimes there's protein involved. Yeah, it's plant-based. Mm-hmm. And then you do have fats in there, but what you call
the healthy fats.
The healthy
the
fats.
Nuts.
Yeah, you're not frying things in and out like.
I made the dough bark.
Yeah.
And you use chickpeas.
That's amazing.
And I gave it to several of my coworkers, and I said, I'm not going to tell you what's in it. It has the chocolate on top and the peanut butter. And I'm like, by the way, you just ate chickpeas.
You just got some fiber in there. That's amazing.
Fiber, protein, but it has the chocolate and it has the satisfaction.
So that's satisfaction is huge because it's like people just start working out. Yeah. From doing nothing. Now they're expending calories.
Yes.
Now their output is much higher. So now you're these hunger signals. And I have worked with multiple members where they feel like they didn't get results because their nutrition wasn't on point, and I'm asking questions, and it turns out they just started eating a lot more once they started working out, like completely negating because they're not paying attention to what it is.
Right.
So it's from a sports nutrition component, right? Mm-hmm. Even with people who coming in that maybe they're overweight, and that's what they want to do is they want to make sure they lose body fat, maybe pre-diabetic. What would be the considerations for someone who just starts working out as far as nutrition is concerned?
Yeah, you still, and there's a good article on eating and pre, during, and post exercise. And I read the article, and it's really an awesome article because I've done some sports nutrition and consulting out.
I mean, you're an avid runner yourself. You were the other day, you ran like a 10K, and then we were trying to work out here in the same day.
And and definitely for endurance, when we're doing strength training, that requires a little different fueling than the cardio, or if you're doing longer than the workout here in the gym. But having enough fuel for your muscles and then for recovery is so important, because after you do the exercise, that's when the body is gearing up to recover. So you always want to have some protein, a little bit of carbs, especially after cardio, but even after strength, because we're breaking down and we're building up the muscles. So you need those good fuel essentially right after.
Yeah, you don't want to go the other way where all of a sudden it's like, well, now I'm working out, now I can't eat anything.
No, you need to fuel your muscles.
And then along with the fad diet, one of the fad exercise trends was fasted cardio.
Yes.
And so you have, I'm here every morning, and fasted people who don't eat much in the morning. Do you have like a recommendation for someone who's working out in the morning and they're on their way to the gym, but probably they need something in their stomach? Do you have a recommendation for what you would do in that case?
It depends on what you like, but a piece of fruit is always good. It has a little carb, little hydration, and it's definitely good on the stomach. Like this morning, I came in to do my eVolt, and then I did the cardio class.
Yeah.
And of course, I came in fasting because I was doing my eVolt.
Yeah.
I had a pack of, I got it from Costco. It's like an applesauce, but it has other vegetables in it.
Oh, okay.
And I learned that trick doing trail running because I would use baby food, but this is a lot cheaper alternative. And it gives you a little carb. It's easy to digest. And so that's what I did before the cardio class this morning.
And how did that work out for you? I mean,
it was great.
Did you get a medal?
Yes.
Then that's all that matters. That's all that matters.
Yes.
Gold medal is all that matters.
Yes, exactly.
So when someone's looking at the internet, for instance, and they're trying to figure out what to eat, right? You have a full schedule. It's going to be hard for them to book with you. What would they be looking for as far as a recommendation, other than just a Mediterranean diet? Is there any like really red flags where it's like, hey, let's not follow this? You know what I mean? Like other than just cutting out one nutrient, is there anything that's like, is it just the fact that probably it couldn't be sustainable?
So anything that purports to be the be all end all, take my supplement, take this bar, this whatever.
If it sounds too good to be true.
And I actually have that written down, that quote. So you said it for me. Anything that sounds too good to be true is not true.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's really where you want to focus on real food. So focus on things you like, but are whole grain, and fresh fruits and vegetables. But high fiber sometimes before a workout can be challenging.
Oh.
Yeah. So I like to give a little, that's why the applesauce packet.
Yes.
Fruit can have the carbs, but if it's far enough in advance, like when I did marathons, I would wake up, take a shower, have banana, peanut butter, and I'd go back to bed.
Oh.
And I'd wake up and have something more simple right before the run. So I had a little bit of the fueling from the fasting overnight, and I learned that worked really well for me for the long, I did Ironman, so I did the same thing for that because it's a long
Or somebody's
day.
taking a summit class for the first time and they're going to have some high endurance type of work. That might be a nice little trick.
You want to come fueled.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to fuel right before. If you do right before, then you want something a little bit easier to digest. But so the evening classes are kind of easy because you can have a snack or your dinner before you come in. But the morning is the challenging one.
Yeah.
If you come to the 5:15, or even like this morning when I came for the 6:30 class, you're not going to eat breakfast at 4 or 5 and then come in. So maybe after, but having a little something to break your fast before is always a good thing. And the electrolytes.
Oh.
That's the other thing now that we're in summer. There's electrolytes, and so sports drinks is a whole other.
That's a whole other bag of worms.
Yes.
But you want to make sure you have some sodium and potassium to be in that position where it's just like, okay,
you don't have to necessarily for these short workouts. 45 minutes.
That's a long time to me.
It's a long time.
Are you kidding me? A HIIT class, it feels like a lifetime.
Yes. In general, you don't have to have sugar. So I don't use a sports drink that has sugar for these classes.
Yeah, so you don't need a I'm not going to say the name, but something aid I'm not gonna need a
You know, the
copious amount of
Gatorade
sugar.
website is actually really good.
Oh, okay.
They have really good researched information. I've used their website a lot.
Yeah.
You just have to ignore the ads.
Ignore the product.
And then they say, well, this sports, you want to have this, and this product is perfect for this, But I'm like, yeah, there's other products too. But they have good, well-researched. So that is a good source of information.
Okay. So is there anything that we could tell people to arm themselves up for when they're looking for what nutrition plan to follow? Is there anything that you want to tell the people?
So Mediterranean diet. So I don't like to use the word diet, even though I'm a dietitian and that's in my job title.
Yeah.
I hate that. We don't want to follow diets.
Yeah.
We want to really change our way of eating forever. And you don't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
I'm not perfect. I don't expect perfection. You can
You're a
have
lifestyle
your little cheats.
tician.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the whole part is psychological as well. Yeah. That could be a whole podcast all on its own. Mm-hmm. Your cultural beliefs, how you grew up eating, all of those influence the choices we make as adults. Mm-hmm. I see it all the time. So you have to tailor all this to your upbringing and your cultural foods. But ideally, trying to find that way of eating that focuses on more plants, less processing. It should, come from the ground, not from a plant. Anything that has a flavor packet or, has been adulterated and changed multiple times is probably not your best bet.
So it comes from a factory in New Jersey, probably stay away.
No.
Okay.
But it comes from the field, yes.
All right.
Yeah. So really working on that and trying to moderate your portions, but really fueling, hydrating, and eating these healthy foods and adding those healthy fats.
Yeah.
Is
The problem
really
is
important.
it's not sexy, it doesn't sell, but it works.
Yeah. The Mediterranean plan, mainly from Greece and, where the olive oil and, we add avocado as well, is a base of these diets, nuts and seeds, smaller animal proteins, but a lot of vegetables, legumes, and that has been found to be a very healthy diet in studies time and time again.
Amazing. And so if people had additional questions, or where could they find you? Is there any... Are you an influencer?
No.
Okay.
No, I've never gone there. I just work for Kaiser. So my consulting that I did for sports was with Team and Training. So it was a charity. So I worked with the athletes doing these big endurance races.
Amazing.
So,
well, thank you for taking the time to sit down with us today. Yeah. And I'm glad that you were able to get that class in earlier today. So you're not going to take the class right now. But you're probably going to train again, right? 2 days. Love it.
Yes,
Good.
of course. All right.